we have had a great visit with our speaker over the past 24 hours or so. He flew in yesterday afternoon to Nashville from San Francisco, and he has been traveling a great deal. A number of us at school heard him speak this summer at the International Boys School Coalition meeting in San Francisco, and the group thought that we had to invite him to NBA, that he would just be a terrific speaker to open up our school year. And he spoke to our faculty this morning, our in-service meetings, and the response from the faculty was terrific. They thought this was one of the best speakers we've had and they've heard. He is a voice artist. You should hear him do the characters from Star Wars. And you'll hear, I bet, a number of his talents in that line in a few minutes. He has been a policeman and a parole officer. He has done a great series for public television on raising children. He has 4 children, he and his wife. I asked him last night, I told the faculty this on our way back from a dinner, what he enjoys doing in his free time. He says the best thing that he can do is to spend time with his 12-year-old daughter and her friends. One of my favorite lines about him is that when the Pope came to San Francisco, he was the opening act for the Pope. Tells you a little bit about the diversity of his background and interest. Please help me welcome Michael Pritchard to MDA.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys. Very pleased to be with you today. The football team's here. And I always encourage our football players. I had huge Big Brother football player types. My brothers always look like this. Football. I had a brother, we nicknamed him NARS, N-A-R-S, not a rocket scientist. At school, he thought Cheerios were donut seeds. And he said brilliant things like, "Hey, let's have a sofa fight." Big. So I'm pleased to be with you, boys. Been talk for a while, folks, and then afterwards I'd spend time speaking with you and you can answer questions or talking to you. Off mic, had a great day today. Anytime I can be with teachers who influence young men's lives, I feel grateful. Before I begin to speak, and boys and ladies who are here in high school, I suggest that you get this poem for your parents and give a blessing to the room in the form of a poem. And it's by Khalil Gibran. It will be in your library. It's in a book called The Prophet. Listen to the words. And fellas, I know you had a practice today. And I played football in college and high school. And these are the moments when we're most ready to receive. Because we're tired, and our spirit learns such things that can carry our bodies places. And never forget that sports don't build character, they reveal it. Your children are not your children, but the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. And although they come through you, they are not from you. Although they live with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have thoughts of their own. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for they live in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but seek not to make them be like you, for life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bow from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. And the archer, God, sets his mark on the path of the infinite and bends his bow with all of his might, that his arrows might go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for as he loves the arrow that flies forward to the future, so also does he love the bow that is stable. Powerful words. Young folks, it is hard for us as parents to tell you how much we love you. I have kids your age. And we get scared because sometimes we want so much for you and we want to protect you. So keep in mind the emotions that parents have. When my first son was born, I used to wait up every night for his every breath. You know how babies cry? They go, oh, And you hear that one that goes, "Wah!" I have to go, "Get him, he's choking." The baby's laying there going,
Take me to my mother, fatso. I need to be fed. Hurry up, chubby thighs.
well, the more kids I had, the less afraid I got. My first kid, I was scared all the time. Ooh, Nick, don't put that in your mouth, Icky. Yeah. Second kid, no, don't eat that, give me Icky. Third kid, tastes good. You're on your fourth, go ahead, eat it. Did I get any better at being a dad? No, I just realized, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not get bent out of shape. We're your parents. We're learning as we go along. You all go through processes, starting from early childhood. Little kid at 6. What's the difference between a 6-year-old and a small puppy? After a while, the puppy stops whining. I haven't even moved. And then you're 10, you get that angry little edge on you. I don't care if I go to the store with you. I'm hanging around the house with my friends, people who really care about me. And then you're teenagers, and you're going, whatever. Talk to the palm because you ain't the bomb. And you know everything. I had a kid I worked with, he was 17, he goes, "Man, I'm tired of everybody telling me what to do. I'm going to join the Marine Corps." Oh yeah, nobody will tell you what to do there. But think about what your parents go through. Everything that a mom and dad does is learning to let go. Out of the womb, let go, off the breast, let go, off the lap, let go. You want to ride your bike to the corner. You want to go to the mall and walk on your own without anybody. Then you want to go to the movies. You want to be out past 12. And then you're like, "Car keys, please." And we're always learning to let go. Think about what we're going through. Remember to do that. My little boy lets me know that it was okay for me to be afraid. Realize now sometimes that fear is the little dark room where negatives are developed. We get scared as parents. My little boy comes and goes, "Dad, would you take the training wheels off my bike?" "No, you're not ready for that. You're not coordinated enough." "I'm just going to go right down here to the end of the corner, turn around and come right back. What are you afraid of?" "What do you mean?" "Like, are you afraid I'm going to get hit by a car on 15th Avenue? "Yeah." "You afraid I'm like fall over and break both my legs?" "Could happen." "You afraid I'm like hit some little old lady and kill her?" "Yeah, don't even take me that much." "I'm just going to go right down there to the end of her back. Just let go. Growing up." It's a lot farther for us to the end of the corner than it is for you. And this is just a little boy on his way to the corner in a bike. And I go, "All right, go ahead." And I watch him go. And I hear the cars at the end of the corner. I hear my heart going. And I see his motor skills. He's going. It's all the way down there, and he turns around, he comes back and goes, "Thanks a lot for being out here in case I did fall, Dad." I said, "Okay, buddy, you did a good job." "I know, I've been practicing over at my friend Brendan's all week long." If you hear that behind it, maybe every once in a while, don't forget to tell your parents how much you love them and appreciate them. Don't forget to tell them how much you value where you are, what you're getting the opportunity to do, and the sacrifices they've made to get you there. The world is sometimes bigger than we think. And in our teen years, a lot of teens go, Well, if the world is going to revolve, why not around me? And that's not a place to live. It's existing. So the powerful thing is to be appreciative of everything we have around us. And to know that everything in life is choices, not chances, choices. That starts when we're little. We don't even know that we're making choices. I had my little 3-year-old standing there one day going, what?
He got my crayon.
I'll get another crayon.
No,
Why not?
because he got the one that I wanted.
He doesn't see there's 63 other colors. And it doesn't get to be any different when you're a little older. As you get older, you start to realize that life is choices. We had my young nephew living with us. We called him Mr. NCAA. No clue at all. Because he didn't know he was making choices. He'd stand there and go,
There's popsicles in the refrigerator.
yeah,
Well, they're like 4 different flavors.
yeah.
Well, what flavor should I have?
He's not kidding. Gotta see him watch TV.
What's on TV?
I go, I don't know, Greg, it's not even on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, ABC, NBC, watch whatever you want.
I think I'll go back to bed.
The reason you're laughing is some of you can identify. Psychologists call it,
Option paralysis.
no generation has had the choices that you guys have. When a lot of us moms and dads were growing up, there was 3 channels on television. You guys have 38 on cable, 900 on satellite, 2,000 movies at the video store, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, 6-channel CD changers, and the internet. At any time at home, when you leave us, you're standing there, you have a remote control in your hand. Or you're on the joystick going, or you're sitting at the internet going, then you come to school. I know I'm 50 years old, and many of the teachers were standing there with a piece of chalkboard.
The intransitive verb is something.
You guys went, faster! I was so grateful to see the incredible depth of commitment to technology at this school. Oh, man. Fellas, ladies, gentlemen, you're in the right place at the right time. Boys, you're in the right place at the right time. Ladies and gentlemen, you have your kids in the right school. I am so deeply committed to seeing what they are doing here that I would like to see it spread around and cross-pollinated across the country. Powerful. Because so many of us don't know technology. I know this, ladies and gentlemen, because my 6-year-old daughter always goes to me,
Dad, give me the remote control. You don't even know how to get picture-in-picture. But watch me, I'll show you. I don't want to have to explain it again.
and it's that technology. If you're over 30, you are an immigrant to technology. If you are under 30, you are a native to technology. We're learning as we go along. But the point here is, it's about character, gentlemen. Character is what you do when nobody's watching. You learn from being who you are. Cummings, the poet, said, to be yourself in a whole world full of people, trying desperately to make you be exactly like them, is to fight the greatest battle that ever was or ever will be. Learn to be yourselves. And not worry about what peers think. Look inside for the answers. Not just on the football field or the basketball field or the track field, but in the classroom. In the science lab, right here in this theater. Great, great rabbi said, if I am not for me, who will be? But I fight only for me, what am I, if not now, when? We stand up for ourselves, we stand up for others. We learn that that is the strength and commitment that we have in our lives. A great writer named Elie Wiesel said, when we die and go to see the Creator, the only thing the Creator says is, hey, why weren't you more yourself? Let's learn to be ourselves. And that means in every facet of our lives. You know, I grew up in a big, huge family, big brothers. And I had my dad, and I was that kid who was the kind of, I told this morning, I was a little bit of a smart aleck. I had, my dad was a tough guy. He had one of those, he was an Army officer, drill instructor. He had one of those $4 haircuts, $1 for each corner. And he could say something to you and scare you, you know. His favorite line was,
Stop crying before I give you something to cry about.
not my favorite line. My favorite line is when they spank you and then they ask that all-important dad question.
You want some more?
Oh yeah, Dad, you can never get enough of that beating stuff. Can't you hit any hard enough movies? What that was?
And you don't start out being a humorist. You work your way up from smart aleck. My dad would go,
Hey, did I or did I not tell you to cut the grass when I left this morning?
Oh yeah, Dad, I forgot.
Yeah, what about me? What if I forgot about my job? What if I forgot what I was supposed to do tomorrow?
Maybe you could cut the grass.
but he was a tough man, and he was a World War II guy. There's a book called Citizen Soldier. I hope you read it. Stephen Ambrose is a great historian, and he is the one who helped put together the vets who talked at D-Day, or Saving Private Ryan. In that, he talked about what the World War II man had done for us, and the World War II woman. He said, paroxysms of fear were shown through the citizenry of any nation in Europe where a squad of young men were gathered, with the exception of the Americans. They brought with them a sense of love, camaraderie, friendship, and the true fruits of liberty, freedom, and a sense to be yourself. When it came to World War II, we sent our best, they did their best, and the world was saved from evil. Montgomeryville has a proud tradition of being amongst those types of people. And that's why it's important to remember the traditions and the sacrifices that were made by those that did not return. So in essence, I learned about my World War II dad. He was a tough guy and I loved him, but he held a lot in. And although he was a good man and a great father to me, I knew I could do better with my own kids by being more emotionally connected. And that means that we have to be real about who we are. You can't get into, my dad was
Men. We're manly men with roast beef vests and Sears tool belts. We never say I love you, and we never cry. Denial? That is a river in Egypt.
But I don't blame my dad. All he had for a role model was John Wayne. Kirk Douglas said John Wayne's problem was he thought he was John Wayne. So there is no thing as John. There's no such thing as John Wayne. God, I love John Wayne and his movies. Greatest line ever delivered on education was delivered by John Wayne in the movie Sands of Iwo Jima. Duke was playing Sergeant Stryker, and he looked at one of his young Marine recruits and he said, "Life is tough, but it's a lot tougher when you're stupid." Pretty much the best line ever delivered on education. But how did John Wayne make it now in the year 2000 when we're starting to realize that we have to be real about our emotions? Boys, violence doesn't have a zip code. We can teach you to be incredible athletes and incredible scholars, and pray that you know that being a gentleman is being a person of peace. Always have enough iron in yourself to be prepared for violence, but be a person of peace. That's what a gentleman and a scholar and an athlete does. But if you think that violence doesn't have a zip code, think of Michael Jordan, Bill Cosby, or Gerald Levin. They all had $1 billion in the bank, and their family members were taken from them by angry young men with guns. Violence doesn't have a zip code. It's important to be in touch with our emotions and not use anger as a tool to motivate us. Better to use, instead of "I'll show you who I can be," "I'll love myself enough to be better than you expect me to." I hope you hear the difference. Because if we use anger as a tool to motivate ourselves, we're hurting ourselves as we pretend to have a good life. And should we achieve on the fields and in the classrooms, but our only motivation is the anger of competition, we miss the point. The compassion of self-love and respect for others is more important. It's what it's all about. And I can't express too strongly enough, because of the violence that I've seen the past 2 years, how concerned I am for our nation and its young men. Whether you choose to believe it or not, I love you very, very much. And I'm concerned for you, because I know you're the torchbearers that will help our nation and lead it. And so I'm concerned for your personal safety. Alcohol and drugs can take you places you do not want to go, and put you in situations that can put your life at risk. Don't kid yourself. Over 30 years of being on the streets, I've seen so many wonderful young men lost. Lost because of the choices that they made. Their leadership gone, their love gone, their frame of reference to how to change the world gone. All lost in the potential by a second's choice like that. To a person who may bring their toxic anger to you. Now I'll show you something real quick. Violence is something that's not an outside-in job, it's an inside-out. Be honest with me. I don't care who's in the room. How many of you have heard the words faggot and homo used at school? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. How many of you have heard racial epithets used at school? Raise your hands. How many of you have heard the teachers disrespected? How many of you have heard language that was inappropriate towards young ladies used? Good. Be honest. Proud of you. Look. That's violence. Don't live there. We are more noble and more kind than that. Kindness is not a weakness, it's a strength of character. And your honesty today is very much appreciated by me. We can be in the greatest schools with the greatest leaders in the world, but we can be violent towards others and torment others. Here's what I can tell you, gentlemen. Hurt people hurt people. When you see the kid at school who acts the toughest, who acts the coldest, who acts the baddest, who acts the meanest, that's the one in the most pain. Hurt people hurt people. When you see the kid who self-isolates and gets off on his own and doesn't want to be part of the group, or is pushing the group away because of the abuse they've taken, reach out. That's what a wise person does. Makes you stronger and more blessed. And to know that pain shared is pain divided. Pain shared is pain divided. When we help uplift each other, and the one who is maybe not as strong physically, or maybe not as bright mentally as us, and we uplift them, we're bringing ourselves along at the same time and learning leadership, coaching, and teaching in its best form. Good teachers and leaders, coaches get you to believe in them, but the best get you to believe in yourselves. Getting other folks to believe in themselves is a powerful thing. Cour is the French word for heart. Encourage, give strength to the heart of others, not discourage. Who teaches us this, folks? I mean, little kids are great. I had a little boy and I said, hey, how do you have a responsibility in your life? And this little boy who's 8 pieces in Huntsville, Alabama, goes, Mike, I have a responsibility That while my dad gets drunk and hits my mom, sometimes I take the baby and hide my little baby brother in the closet so he doesn't hurt him. I said, Taylor, I just sat down, buddy. I don't know if I was ready for all that, but you needed to get that out right away, didn't you? Yes, sir. I said, why do you think you needed to tell me that right away today? Well, Mike, everybody needs to meet a kind stranger to tell their secrets to. Gentlemen, I will submit to you that across America, young boys go to drugs and alcohol because they're looking to express themselves. And they think that behind alcohol or drugs, they might find the freedom or the uninhibited ability to speak to others. What I tell you is, distracting yourself, drugging or drinking yourself, or denying doesn't work. Learn to be real. Learn to be who you are. Then you don't need to worry about all the falseness. You might escape for a little while behind these things, but you come right back to having to look in the mirror. And it's a powerful thing to learn that as a teammate you can uplift. Team means together everyone achieves more. T-E-A-M. We can do that. We can help our teammates and our classmates achieve an incredible height. You seniors, lead. You know how to. You're old enough and so much yourselves. The best sermon, gentlemen, is a good example. Now, I know that little kids teach me a lot, and I love the way little kids teach. It's so funny and silly. I love my kids. My little boy came in one time at 3:30 in the morning. You know how little kids are funny? He comes in. He's in his little Winnie the Pooh pajamas, and he goes, you always do this with your eye.
What?
All right, I didn't mean to yell at you. Just tell me what you want. It's 3:30 in the morning.
Dad, I don't get any mail.
Everything marked occupant is yours, starting tomorrow morning.
But I love my daughter, Katie Rose. She's a chunky little girl. Well, I suffer from anorexia ponderosa. I tried that Ultra Slim Fast and I found out it tastes great on Ben & Jerry's ice cream. But it isn't the package you arrive in on the planet, it's the product encased inside. Yeah. I took Katie down to the bank and I got ready to sign the check. And this lady, 3 tellers up, does the big sneeze. She goes, and the whole band stops. I go, Katie, what do you say to that lady? And I wanted her to go,
God bless you.
and she goes,
Cover your mouth. Supposed to cover your mouth.
man, you know, little kids can teach us too about being connected to each other. I had my son Brian in kindergarten. He's 5. And Mrs. Himmelstein, the teacher, said, go wash your hands. There's a Laotian American kid, and a Vietnamese American kid, and a Mexican American kid, and an African American kid, and my son Brian was Irish American, and nobody said a word to them. And they went to the wash basin and started to wash each other's hands, help each other. Racism, intolerance, exclusivity, it's not something you arrive on the planet with. It's about including people in your lives that you might not normally. And who best then to lead the way to teach us that? By heart. Gentlemen, if we teach you all from the neck up how to be the greatest whizzes in the world, or we teach you to build biceps so large that the front line of Nebraska weeps when they see you, it means nothing if we have not taught you to have a fortress of the soul that will sustain you through life. To have a sense of the spirit that things are going to be tough sometimes, but you can get through it. And to not just be a survivor of the hard times, but to be an overcomer, to be a prevailer. When you're down by 14 points in the game, don't give up. Grit it out. Find it within yourselves. And encourage your teammates to do the same. It's when we're at our best. When everybody else might think that it's over and might be trailing from the stands, you come back. And it's not for them. It's to prove to yourselves what a team can accomplish, what a group can do, what truth can be born from that inner search for the guts and courage that it takes to not quit on yourself. That's where the ultimate battle is laying. And little kids are great teachers of that. We look inside and we reach out. When Rick Pitino won the national championship, he had his teammates and all of his men sit down and tell their life stories so that everybody knew faults and foibles and idiosyncrasies. And then they were molded as a team to go all the way to the championship because they understood each other. There's a great line that said, "Tell me I'll forget, show me I'll remember, but involve me and I will understand." Be involved. Get with the idea of getting to understand each other. Who best than to teach to reach out to other kids? Little kids. I had an 8-year-old girl. Some folks might have thought she was from a poor family, but they were from the very wealthiest. Because mom and dad had taught her the heart. That's what carries us through. I said, "Hey, how do you make friends with somebody who's different?" She goes, "Mike, I had a friend from like first grade who was like hungry in her eyes for somebody to be her friend." And I said, "What do you mean hungry in her eyes?" "Well, she's deaf." I said, "Well, then you would know like how to include her in the group and talk to her because you didn't know sign language." "I know, but okay, check it out. Like in this summer of first grade, I decided to take a course in sign language for 4 weeks for an hour a day. And my mom would take off work from cleaning people's houses and take me up there. So now, that little girl and I are like best friends, and we have sleepovers, and we talk about our feelings, and I love her very much. She es mi corazón," which is the Spanish word for heart. I go, "Wow, wasn't that nice of Mom to take you up there every day in the sun?" She goes, "Well, yeah, well, it was nice of me to go up there too, you know." And I said, "What did you learn from learning to do sign language and include her in the group?" "Well, now I always listen a lot more with my eyes and my heart than I do with my ears and my brain." The strongest teams are built by building up the teammates that need the most help. And you'll never need your teammates as much as when we lose. That's when you can come back and learn and use it to not just be a survivor of a loss, but a prevailer. Because you take what happens to you and go with it. That's how you become champions. You seniors, lead the way. You know how to. You're old enough to be as much yourselves as you can be. And learn finally, it's all about heart. I love special kids, and I spend a lot of time with special kids because special kids lead by the heart. And when I'm working with special kids, I'm so conscious of how wise they are. We took a group of Special Olympics kids to San Quentin to play basketball, and there was a 6'8" convict getting ready to jump ball against our little Down syndrome boy who was 5'1" and 230. The referee blew the whistle, got ready to throw the ball up. And our little Down syndrome boy looked up at that great big convict and went, "You're all mine, badass." He said that was the first time that convict laughed in 10 years. I call that a miracle. I was playing aggravation with 3 Down syndrome children one day at a little marble and dice game, and I said, "Hey, you guys, where's the dice?" And one of them went, "Mike, we just pretend that we have a dice. I get a 5. You needed a 6. I go, "Well, why don't you just get a 6, Jeremy?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not a cheater." Right there in a moment, these youngsters of the heart can teach us. I was out at Special Olympics. This will be the last thing I say. You ever seen a kid run and laugh? Boom, the gun goes off. She goes, "Yes! Woohoo! This is not an Olympic form runner. She's hitting every lane." And she gets all the way down to the finish line, 40 yards in front of everybody. And I go, no, Andy, break the tape.
Mike.
I go, no, snap it, just walk through. You win the gold medal. You won the Special Olympics gold medal, just walk through. And she turned around and she put her hand out for her friend, who turned and put her hand out for her friend. And then all 6 kids held hands and they came across the finish line together. And she goes, wow!
Together we all win.
That's what this season's going to be about. That's what this school year is going to be about. Lead well. God bless you guys. And thank you folks from Montgomery Bell for having me here. I appreciate it. I'm up here sweating like Dom DeLuise at the Jenny Craig Confession Seminar.